Right, okay, this is going to be fun. We're going to put ourselves in charge of WPP for the next 10 minutes. The big question is, can WPP as a holding company continue in the same shape?
Yeah.
And our kind of hypothesis is no, and we're going to make some consider really what we would do as a new playbook for WPP 2.0.
Yes, we are. Now this is the opportunity that they've got.
Yeah.
Okay, so Martin has gone. He was the glue that was holding it all together.
Yep.
It was his baby. He created this huge beast of a company. But since his departure, as we've talked about before, there is a sense of liberation, I think, by the agency leaders. And if there was ever a time, if there was ever an opportunity to re-look at how to restructure an organisation like that and go all in and future-proof it, now would be the time.
Yeah. But it's incredibly complex. We've been talking about this for the last week a little bit and just kind of coming up with ideas. And it feels like performing, very intricate surgery because of its sheer complexity, which was one of the, early strengths of WPP was that it had, this amalgamation of all these different companies, but incredibly difficult to manage. So our driving principle really is just simplicity. So it's not surgery; it's a total kind of rethinking. That's right. And we have one chance.
That's right. It's a kind of a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for kind of Mark Reed and his leadership team to change this and make it future-proof based on clients' requirements moving forward.
Okay, let's do it. Stick with us and let us know your thoughts as we go through. That would be really helpful. Right, so let's start writing a WPP Playbook 2.0.
Yes.
What should be our start point?
What clients want.
Correct.
So you base everything on client requirements, right? And you base your blueprint on their requirements, on their needs. And what we do know is that clients are looking for agility. They want to be able to simply navigate an organization. They're looking for the best talent. They want to have a commercial proposition that is quite simple to manage. And they want brilliant execution. Now, if you can base your kind of operating principles around those, then you're in pretty good shape.
Yeah, good. So that's a good that's a start point. And it has to be organised to deliver against those things as a priority. Now the challenge with WPP, as we just mentioned, is its sheer complexity, and it needs an organising principle then that helps deliver against those ambitions. So. We've just taken some very simple inspiration from what Google did a few years ago. So when they restructured their business to create a new level of holding group, which they've called Alphabet, and then Google as a business, so its ad-related activities, its search, YouTube, its ads, its apps, Android, things like that, are organised under Google, and then its other lines of business, which in their words were unrelated, are organised into different kind of subsidiaries of the Alphabet group. There's some of the language that they used at the time, you can just see how these could be applied to WPP, right? So Larry Page saying, the restructure was aimed to make the business cleaner and more accountable. It empowering them to manage at scale. Each component part of the business can be run independently where they aren't related. And there's a whole litany of kind of like benefits that they list out from that. If I read a few of them, sounds like WPP, right? Get more done. Like move quicker, take a long-term strategic view, empower our entrepreneurs and allow our companies to flourish, improving the transparency and oversight of what we're doing, making us better through greater focus and making the lives of our people better. Okay, so tick, 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 I think. So as an inspiration, that's what we're going to think about, is actually what would the simplicity of restructure be if we totally oversimplified and clustered WPP companies into new groups.
Let's do it.
Okay, so this is a very oversimplified version of WPP, obviously, and we've left out big chunks of the company, a number of very big companies already. But the principle is that it's not even organised like this, but we've just clustered it into some content, research, advertising, direct, technology, and media agencies, whatever they call them, organised under Group M. Our brutal surgery, as we've just been talking about, would require us to cluster lines of business and talent. And so therefore, the first thing we would probably do is take these
and unbundle them.
And unbundle them completely by selling them off.
Yes.
Okay? These are investments in content businesses and research businesses. So we would just remove those. So let's just take them off the table. Okay, they're gone. That's raised a lot of money. Thank you very much. Wonderman increasingly looking like one of the creative agencies. So these are the value-driven, strategic, consultative businesses, of which their business model is typically fee-based, and they're the ones that are competing perhaps more with the consultancies.
Yes.
Okay.
Or should be anyway.
Or should be.
Yeah.
So that's potentially a kind of a new division of the business. We've then got all the rest of these businesses, which are actually all quite different, and we've missed out lots of different data bits and pieces. Our brutal surgery is to take Essence and put it under here.
Yep.
Essence, whilst thought of as a media agency, has been recently made part of Group M, actually is potentially just a different type of consultative agency. But we would leave the buying and the execution on that side of the table. We would take potentially all of these businesses actually and group them under one company. And that would mean actually getting rid of all of those brands. And what we could end up with here is Group M focused wholly on the execution.
Yep.
And only then doing buying, data and technology organised under one holding company.
That's right.
Okay, so this is super brutal, but you would lose Mediacom, Maxis and Wavemaker completely as brands.
Yeah, and they would be fully integrated within the executional arm of WPP through Group M.
Exactly right. So you have a very simple brand there with 3 responsibilities. That would be a much simpler organisation to navigate as from different stakeholders. The big difference here is that we would take any talent that sits in any of those companies.
Strategic talent.
The strategic talent. Anybody involved in the kind of analysis, strategy and planning. So all the planners in the media agencies, for example, would then go and sit within some of what we now regard as the consultative businesses. Because planning increasingly is paid for, should be paid for by fee.
Yeah.
So it makes sense to when we create separate lines of business here, we have the fee-based consultative businesses. So we move all the planners into these brands, and all the execution, the buying, the data and the technology, which can work on a commission-based business model, is a separate entity. You could still have WPP as the holding group of these 2 organisations, but you have clear separate leadership who set the principles for these businesses. So you've already got a very strong leader here in Kelly Clark, for example, and that would make sense, and you could organise CEOs of the different functions within that. And then there's I'm sure, a very good leader amongst all the businesses here. Maybe that's Mark Reed's responsibility, having run Wonderman, he takes that on, who knows. And then you have a separate CEO, and then WPP becomes a very small company. Yeah. Well, it's a very small company anyway, but so that sits at the top and can work on how these can be working together when they need to, or independently.
Yeah, and it becomes completely flexible as clients want. So clients can dip into the strategic consultative talent that we have on the integrated media and creative agencies, and either access buying through the Group M or not.
Yeah, exactly right. Okay, so that's what we would do. You can see it clusters lines of business, and it also clusters talent into a more manageable way for advertisers, we believe.
Yeah, and it delivers against the kind of the 4 key requirements that we suggested were client wants, agility, simplicity, talent, and brilliant execution.
Yeah, yeah. And to your point, I mean, it would allow the business to take on the consulting threat, if you like, or actually operate more like them, and hopefully successfully for them, and also defend a leadership position in execution, which is where Group M's strength has been as market leader in that. And they can protect their position.
Yeah, and it gives, that's right. But it gives clear access to the most strategic talent within the resource pool. Yeah, and I think that would be really important.
Yeah, exactly. And the final thing, just easier for all of us to understand the business and to navigate. And so that the benefit there is, of course, for advertisers. That's the primary goal. But our assumption would be that also the analyst and investor community, the city and the Wall Street, would appreciate, maybe in the same way that Google had done, is to make it easier to understand the different lines of business, segment out and kind of measure them perhaps independently. So investors would probably benefit from this. And I think, frankly, finally, employees, of which there are, I think now 200,000 WPP employees, would probably have greater clarity and able to understand their own organisation, and that's going to benefit advertisers.
Agreed.
Right, we are off on Sunday to sunny Rome for the Festival of Media, the Global Festival of Media, which happens next week. Yeah. What are we doing there?
So on Monday afternoon at 5 o'clock, I'm on the main stage with two high-profile global media leaders, Gerhard Loh from Deutsche Telekom and Sarah Armitage from LVMH. Yeah. We're going to be talking about how brands are bringing control of media decision-making in-house.
Yep, very good. And driving change.
They are.
Excellent. If you're going to the Festival of Media, we will see you there. We have a little team from ID Comms heading off to Rome. If you're not going and you're interested in media, you should really think about going if you can get a ticket. But we'll leave you with the question of the week. What do you think? Do you agree with the WPP 2.0 playbook?
Yes, no, whatever.
Excellent. That's your media snack for this week. Thank you for watching. Please give us a thumbs up if you like what we're doing. Bye for now.
See you next time.
Thank you very much for watching. Please give us a thumbs up if you like what we're doing, but we'll see you next time.
I see that.
Thanks for watching. That's your media snack. No, let me try again. So sorry, I'm making a meal of this. Right, go.